Hello, I'm Robert Kotzer, the Senior Director for SU International, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Stellenbosch University and to welcome you to our SIAN meeting and to give you a little campus tour as I did when we were face to face. So I say hello to Nikki from Tübingen, hello to the Russian participants, to our delegation from Botswana and also from Ghana, and especially our group from Lund. I'm happy to see you, and a fist bump or a elbow hug in these days. So we will start our tour on the Red Square, our Rooiplein. Welcome, and I hope you enjoyed the time with us. Let's stop here at the library. The library is underneath the Red Square, and at the wall, at the entrance to the library, you have some depictions of the townships and the suburbs in and around Stellenbosch. Our link to the community is extremely important for the university. So here on the Red Square, we have a statue for Mr. J.H. Maree. Mr. Maree gave a huge sum of money to have the university established here in Stellenbosch. His farm is also currently the sports campus of the university. So on our way to the student center, we're just stopping here at the Circle. The Circle celebrates important women in the history of South Africa, and one woman who's also very important now because the name of our building has recently been changed to her. It's Eva Okrutua, a Khoi woman married to a European. It was the first recorded union between a native and a settler, and many South Africans can trace a lineage back to her. So this is the representation of Krutua, and then at the back we have the depiction of Professor Thuli Madonsela, who was at one stage the public protector of the country and who is now a professor at Stellenbosch University. So we are at the entrance to the student center. We still have a depiction here of our 100-year celebrations we had with a depiction of Nelson Mandela. Let's go into the student center. So this is our student center where students like to meet. In previous years, this was also the venue for the Study Abroad Fair, which we will have virtually the coming days. But here is where you would have put up your booth to promote your institution. So within the student center, there are different shops, but also a food court downstairs where you can have your meals, and where students can also use their student card to book and get some meals. So we're at the Mati shop, and a Mati is the nickname for a student registered at Stellenbosch University. So when your students come here, they will be international Matis. So we've arrived at the Jan Meton Teaching Center. This is the newest building on campus, and those of you who have been here before would have remembered there was a huge parking lot here. This was developed about 2 years ago and was opened during COVID times, and it plays an important role for our programs to international students, especially big groups of students we are receiving from Schema Business School in Paris. On our right-hand side, this side, we have the Visual Arts Department, and why I make a reference to them is that they've got a wonderful jewelry design program which is quite popular for some international students. So we've arrived at the Conservatorium, our Department of Music, where students can do programs in music theory, but also in practical music like piano, cello, and it's also a very nice venue for the university for concerts. And this is also the house of our university choir, who has performed quite well overseas recently. Victoria Street is a popular road where students meet, and also it depicts some or other boundary of the university. But there's no real boundary between the town and the university, because on the other side of the road you will see the building for horticulture, and then next to it is a private housing apartment block that's part of the town. So the town and the university are really intertwined quite significantly. We're the only university offering degree programs in viticulture and enology. So for a taste of wine, you have to come here, but we will try some Stellenbosch wine Friday evening, and I hope you've bought your bottles of wine for the tasting on Friday evening. We have reached the Ou Hoofgebou, the old main building, dating from 1885, which was the first building of the university where many departments were hosted. Currently, it's the home of the law faculty, who are celebrating their 100 years this year. This building also has a special private personal meaning to me. That's where I taught Hebrew before I changed over to the international office, and where I basically met my wife and where we had our wedding pictures taken. But that is just something between you and me. In the old main building, there's wonderful facilities for conferences, and you've received a parcel with a puzzle of the building inside of it. So we've arrived at our final destination, Krutoa building. This is the building housing SU International as well as the postgraduate office. Krutoa was a translator in the early days of the Cape Colony, and we see ourselves also as interpreters to the incoming international students, trying to translate the local situation, Africa, South Africa to them, and then also to our students to prepare them well for the international experience. And there's where you are very important, because with our partners we can give that experience to our students and to your students. Welcome to Stellenbosch University, and I wish you a pleasant conference. Thank you. And I'm very happy that they will participate with us in the next 45 minutes or so. So Professor de Villiers has recently been appointed for his second term at the university, and Professor de Villiers also instigated the big change within internationalization at the university when the position of a Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Internationalization was created, and that was a big impetus for us to expand and to grow. Professor de Villiers, over to you. You're welcome to start with your welcoming and the words you want to address to us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Robert. And I must say that was a fantastic video. I really liked it, and your COVID, your pandemic ponytail is getting more impressive by the day. So well done with that. So, well, welcome everyone to the annual Stellenbosch International Academic Network, or the SIAN meeting. So to new and potential partners, we're very excited to include you, and I hope you find the next 2 days informative. And to current and long-time partners, thank you for your continued support and engagement. I'm very pleased that university representatives from every continent on the globe are attending SIAN this year, and we look forward to having this opportunity and platform to engage with you. As you heard, Lydia said that this year SIAN turns 18, so now the network is officially entering adulthood. But like so many meetings, events, and conferences during the past year and a half, this event is virtual. But hopefully, I very much hope that we'll be able to meet in person soon, because Stellenbosch is truly worth a visit, as you saw in the video, no matter the season. Today is the official opening of SIAN, but activities have already started yesterday with study abroad option sessions with Stellenbosch University students, and the International Town and Gown Network meeting. And we have an exciting program ahead where we'll delve into various internationalization efforts. And on a more social note, You'll get to learn more about South African food, bobotie, and wine, pinotage, a very interesting culture, and I hope you enjoy that. So the theme this year is augmented internationalization. And Robert Kotze, our head of SU International, expands on this in his welcoming message on the SIAN website. But I do think the concept of augmentation is worth reiterating, because to augment something is to enhance it, to add on. And we've gotten used to add-ons and expanding our methods during the past year. In the first part of last year, the whole world went into emergency mode. So at Stellenbosch University, we implemented Emergency Remote Teaching, Learning and Assessment, or a new acronym, ERTLA. But since then, as we've come to grips with the pandemic and its effects, we've now moved into Augmented Remote Teaching, Learning and Assessment, or ARTLA. And to make ARTLA possible, the university has embarked on an extended learning spaces project in November last year. This is an ambitious initiative that's fast-tracking the installation of advanced equipment in around 200 venues to enable lecturers to stream and record lectures, as well as interact with students who are not physically present. And this approach actually means and meant that students in other countries could and can still attend lectures, thus furthering augmented internationalization. Our main goals for 2020 and 2021 were, firstly, to complete the academic year successfully, and secondly, to ensure the long-term systemic sustainability of our institution with the underlying imperative of not compromising on the health, safety, and well-being of our staff and students. And we're achieving that. Despite the challenges and significant challenges of online and hybrid learning and teaching, Stellenbosch University actually did extremely well in terms of our graduating statistics for 2020. We broke our own record for the most qualifications ever conferred, and our enrollments for next year, for 2022, have also increased. Naturally, we do want our students to be physically present on our campuses. It's a priority for us. We're predominantly a residential university. And in 2020, the campus was largely deserted, and you saw you saw some in the video, but you could also see that today students in masks can again be seen on our university town's oak-lined streets. Classes have resumed, and residences are open, adhering to strict protocols to ensure that our campus community stays safe. And with South Africa's borders being open, Stellenbosch University has welcomed international students and colleagues so we can continue our work in fostering the relationships with our valued partners. Our institution's vision is to be Africa's leading research-intensive university that's globally recognized as excellent, inclusive, and innovative, where we advance knowledge in service of society. And to help us realize this vision, Stellenbosch University has established partnerships and agreements with more than 100 institutions around the world. And our partnerships in Africa, like the African Doctoral Academy and the Stellenbosch University Africa platform, is of great importance to sustainable development on our continent. The Ouda NEPAD Center of Excellence in Science, Technology, and Innovation is one of the most exciting developments, and this is evidence of our investment in Africa. And tomorrow's session will provide you with more details about this. Another aspect that makes Stellenbosch University appealing is our multilingual environment. And we believe that a multilingual approach gives students more opportunities for a better future. Professor Hester Klopper, our Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Strategy, Global and Corporate Affairs, will speak further about our internationalization successes and efforts, but I'd like to mention some of the significant developments at Stellenbosch University over the past 2 years. So international rankings aren't everything, but it has certainly become a valuable currency in the global higher education sector. And we're proud to have moved up in the rankings after the recent Times Higher Education rankings were published. We're part of the top 1% globally. And this gives us the capacity to extend our reach and to attract internationally recognized academics and researchers and top-level students. We've also launched a school for climate studies that will and can have a significant impact, particularly in South Africa and the rest of our continent in terms of mitigating climate change. Because it is actually expected that Africa will be the worst affected. We've also established a school for data science and computational thinking, and the already mentioned Auda NEPAD Center of Excellence in Science, Technology, and Innovation. And all of these projects require collaboration from the global higher education sector. So, in conclusion, augmented internationalization has meant the development of programs for students and staff at SU and its partner institutions to experience the benefits of mobility, both physically and virtually. And already in October 2020, we presented our first online global week, during which we encouraged students to take up hybrid mobility opportunities. And since then, we've seen a rise in students who decide to take up virtual mobility across the various programs that we present. In fact, Stellenbosch University has seen continued year-on-year growth in our partnerships since 2018, despite the pandemic. And we're determined to expand our internationalization efforts and to move towards augmented internationalization, which has provided us with the opportunity to enhance and expand our global footprint. And the purpose of this conference is to inform, to network, to enhance, to create, and to experience. And I can already see it happening. I very much would like you to enjoy it, and let's move forward together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor de Villiers, and thank you very much also for your continued support for our activities, and also that the Rectorate helped us last year to survive, because we had a wobble in terms of our remuneration for staff, and the university helped us with that. I'm still very much appreciative of what you and the Rectorate has done during that time, and helping us through a crunch moment in our history. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your words, and it's much appreciated. So we can move on, and I would like to invite Professor Hester Klopper, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Strategy, Global and Corporate Affairs, to address us and to explain to you some of our internationalization activities that we've done this year. Professor Klopper is also now in a second term with us, and the responsibility area where we report to have just changed from strategy and internationalization to strategy, global and corporate affairs. And we look forward to the new dimensions that will be added to us, and that we will work more closely also with our corporate communications and marketing division in terms of international reputation building. And I think it provides us with a good opportunity. Hester, Professor Klopper, you're welcome.
Well, thanks so much, Robert, for the introduction, and it's wonderful to see so many of the colleagues on the screen, and we've met so many of you on our campus and others I've visited, so it's really wonderful to see you. Can I ask Robert, on your side, Lydia, will you share this slide?
I will do that.
Thanks so much, and I will just then give an indication as I move through it, so appreciate. And let me say, I really enjoyed the virtual visit and the video, Robert. It's great what you and the team has put together, and I appreciate all the effort of the team that has gone into this.
Do you want my signature as a movie star?
Absolutely. I mean, the hairstyle is there already. So, um, so Robert has asked me to share with you in some of the success stories that we've seen over the last couple of years, and I will try in the next half hour to really highlight some of these that will attract to you, but also sharing some of the work that we're doing with our partners in this room. So it's indeed a good opportunity to share that. Next slide, Robert. Thanks. So our internationalization efforts at Stellenbosch University is embedded in our strategic vision 2040, as well as our strategic framework. The goals and our objectives has been embedded in our 6 core strategic themes, and those are displayed. And ultimately, as part of this framework, it's serving the core to cultivate a thriving Stellenbosch University. And we do this through a transformative student experience, to foster our purposeful partnerships and inclusive networks, to promote networked and collaborative teaching and learning, and to conduct research with impact, and not the least, but to position ourselves as an employer of choice. In 2019, the international strategy was approved, and as part of what I want to share with you embedded in this strategy is I've structured it according to then our core strategic themes and some of the activities within each of these themes. The implementation of the international strategy, which was adopted, and I'm sitting here thinking it goes back to 2019 when it was approved, involves several action steps to support the faculties to align their research, teaching and learning, as well as the partnership initiatives across the university, but also with the strategy. One such a key deliverable that has been in the forefront, especially Robert has been the driving force behind this, working with his team, and that is to develop a comprehensive partnership framework which focuses on our bilateral partnerships, and this is the formal agreements with institutions like our partners here present today, but then also with international organizations that supports our strategy. The next phase now, after identifying the framework, is now moving towards the implementation. And this is where faculties, according to their specific priorities, then support, through the support of our colleagues at the International Office, we've set up a structure which is called International at Faculty. And it's a forum supported by then each of those forums have a representative from Stellenbosch University International. So it's really within the International Office, also our colleagues building those relationships within faculties, but then also getting the opportunity to become experts in certain areas. And this structure feeds into our international institutional advisory committee on internationalization, which is a subcommittee of the rectorate. So we have indeed been, it's been a very exciting development in cementing all our partnerships in our framework and then moving to the next steps. Next, thanks. In terms of providing a transformative student experience, the global education opportunities for students in different forms have really been in the forefront of what we've been trying to do, given the challenges that we've had to move virtual and online. Stellenbosch University International facilitates the participation of students in various global education opportunities, and I want to highlight just a couple of those. The first was the UMOJA inaugural Africa Student Leadership Network Summit. And this was once again an idea that at the end was an absolute success story of students participating across the continent. And this inaugural Leaders Network, hosted by Stellenbosch University, with the mission that this network unites Africa's student leaders, is indeed and in future will become a champion for ethical leadership and good governance. In terms of the Global Week, Stellenbosch University hosted the first online Global Week from 12 to 16 October. And the purpose is to ensure that our students remain engaged, although not in person, but then in an online format. And each day focused on a specific theme with a responsibility coordinated by one of our colleagues in international office, giving presentations to our students and supporting the themes in which they were participating. Another program that I would like to highlight is our Tübingen Exchange Program. And what we did here with our partners was to, and this, of course, this partnership was already established in 2000 and coordinated by Eberhard Karls Universität Tübingen in Germany and with Stellenbosch. But due to our travel restrictions, we could not continue with how we've done it in the past, but it ended up and being transformed into a 2-week virtual exchange program. 10 of our South African students participated, and indeed, when we got the feedback on this program, the students all said it was a wonderful experience to collaborate with our colleagues at Tübingen. And these are the lessons we've learned, and most probably that we will continue to facilitate in future. The study abroad for global learning short course was developed this year, in the past year, by Stellenbosch University and presented for the first time now in an exchange format that was online. And this has indeed once again formed the basis for expansion in future. We also had an International Week on Sustainability during March of this year, where 10 of our BCom international students participated in University of Antwerp's Faculty of Business and Economics week, that they call it the International Week of Sustainability. And once again, that happened online. The aim of this week was to expose our students to international views and perspectives on corporate sustainability, social and environmental sustainability, and then use that as to develop this global perspective, but also to foster intercultural skills. Next, thanks, Robert. In terms of our incoming and outgoing students, if we compare the data between 2019 and 2020, the impact of COVID-19 is evident. 862 incoming students in 2019 compared to 377 in 2020. This has, however, led to new models of virtual possibilities and opportunities, and we continued with that in terms of physical mobility with one of our partners, which I want to specifically highlight, which is indeed a springboard for further success into the future. Next, thanks. So one of these partnerships that we have seen as being successful, even given during the COVID, and indeed has expanded, is our agreement that we've entered with Schema Business School in 2020 to offer our students from across the 4 global campuses of the Schema Business School a study abroad experience at Stellenbosch University. The first cohort arrived in 2020, but they had to return to their home countries in March last year at the beginning of the pandemic and when we started going into lockdown across the globe. The cohort for the first semester of 2021 was a considerable larger group of 343 students. And we were very fortunate to be able to host those students. And 81 then attended online from France. So we offer this program in 3 streams, which is the 2 master's degree streams, one in our Bachelor of Administration, and then each stream is then tailor-made according to the courses that students has enrolled for. So what we will see in future, this year, of course, we had a smaller group, but the good news is that in the second semester, there will be a next group, and we are already seeing expansion for 2022. Next, thanks. I want to share with you in terms of our purposeful partnerships and inclusive networks. And I've already alluded to our comprehensive partnership framework. But over the past few years, our partnership development has been very strategically driven by our international strategy and subsequently then our partnership framework. The regional growth that, as you will see on the graph, can be attributed to the focus on internationalization and how we've worked with institutions worldwide over the same period of time. The eagerness to interact and collaborative globally certainly made it easier, because we've seen this trend across the globe. But it is critical for us to formalize these interactions and make sure that we work with partners that is in these partnerships with the same focus and intention as we have here at Stellenbosch University. The sharp difference between the number of the partnerships in Europe that you will note and other regions is because of our historical link to Europe. And we are at the point now where we are intentionally focusing on expanding our partnerships to other parts of the world. And our rector has recently been on a visit and will soon follow up on that, expanding some of our partnerships in the UK. In a week's time, I will visit our partners in Canada to expand there, and then also to foster some of our relationships in other parts of the world. In terms of highlighting some of the external relations as part of our partnership institution engagement program, I want to highlight how we've done some of this. Our colleagues at the International Office has continued to do check-in meetings, had bilateral research-focused meetings, and of course, we hosted quite a number of virtual delegation visits. But let me share some of the highlights of these initiatives. And the first being Leiden University in the Netherlands, where Stellenbosch University and Leiden University have been partners since 1992, and a very strong link within our Faculty of Law. But a meeting was held between our Global Education Center and the Center for Partnerships and international support here at SUI. And the purpose was to discuss and understand the different challenges that we have both experienced during COVID-19, but then also to find ways of how we can look at student exchanges and then expand those opportunities in future to ensure that we look at it from a comprehensive international positioning. The second example is that of Hamburg Network post-meeting debrief, where our Stellenbosch University colleagues, along with our strategic partner, University of Hamburg, really invited a number, or were involved with a series of webinars as part of the Hamburg Network meetings, which really at the end was extremely successful in participating and finding synergies also with Northwestern University, which has now become part of that exchange. Most probably another one that I would like, and I see Katrina here online, as well as our TU Dresden partnership. This is a meeting being held with our water researchers at TU Dresden in collaboration with the Water Institute at Stellenbosch University. And it was really described as a sandpit event, getting into the sandpits, understanding what this would mean for the researchers, looking at opportunities for funding, in terms of a possible joint research programs. The others that are listed there has been our engagement with University of Lausanne, which has been really based on around check-in, University of Bath, and also Humboldt University in Berlin. And it's a similar initiatives we've had, but with the intent to enhance and strengthen our research exchanges and to work towards finding ways of promoting research at both ends in terms of our partnership. Thanks, Robert. When we look at the engagement activities around our partnerships, we've done it in a similar way, where we've had a check-in meetings with and virtual delegation visits. These network engagements around the broad theme of COVID-19 really brought partners across the world together as we were grappling with what does this mean for internationalization and how can we learn from this experience. And most probably to highlight just once again a couple of these networks that is in actual fact, as I want to say, has almost bolstered our activities, because all of a sudden we could meet online. In some cases, we had more meetings than in the past, and I think you will share similar experiences, that at some point it felt that you also had to choose between all the different invitations of engaging with certain networks. But the Anime Network, Stellenbosch University has been a founding member of this network, with the focus of developing strong interdisciplinary, inclusive research and training on an international level. Another new network that we have engaged with is the International Network of University. And wow, I must say, what an active network. And a number of our partners is also within this network, but Stellenbosch University being the only Africa partner in this network really provides us with a global platform where we can share our transformative experience in terms of global engagement of students, faculties, and our staff. Another one that happened in November and December of 2020 is the Social Sciences University Network that is coordinated by Lewis University in Rome and Renmin in China, and where where Stellenbosch University is one of the members, and where we hosted 4 of the webinars on artificial intelligence. SASUF has really been on the move, and we have just in the last week had the first meeting of what this would look like, then the next round of SASUF. And we see the formal launch of the next SASUF will happen on the 10th of February next year. And we are indeed excited to see how once again this will be a fertile ground for research and connecting researchers from across the globe. You've already heard that our rector has referred to just yesterday. We had a follow-up meeting on the town and gown. Lydia has really been coordinating that effort, and our partners in that network is online here as well. And we are exciting to see how that's moving forward. The same with the AC21 consortium. Robert has been intricately involved with the steering committee of AC21, and we've seen our successful participation in that. Most probably to wrap up in terms of our global networks is the work that we are busy doing in GAUK, which is the Global Alliance on University of Climate, in preparation for COP26 soon to happen. We have seen that our students have participated in the GAUK Student Summit. And then also another initiative is where Stellenbosch University, CAR 11, and Waseda University submitted an application or a proposal to offer a graduate seminar in 2022, which has been successful. And we will see the rollout as part of Venice International University Network, the digital citizenship, exploring the opportunities and challenges of a digitalized society. And Professor Kanchu will speak to that. He will share with you the new development in terms of our School for Data Science and Computational Thinking, which is indeed moving us forward. The next slide shares with you all our partnerships and networks across Africa. And I'm aware of the time, so I don't want to create the perception that I'm cutting down on important work that my colleagues here in Stellenbosch University International is doing. But we are hosts to the Peri-Peri-U network. We host a secretariat, and we have, in collaboration with the UNDP, launched a short course named COVID-19 Recovery Needs Assessment, as well as the recovery planning. And we are indeed looking forward to see how that will play out. Our rector is already referred to, which has been the reach of a huge milestone for Stellenbosch University, and that is to host the Ouda Nepat Center of Excellence in Science, Technology and Innovation, of which Dr. Nico Elema is closely involved, and working with also our DVC for Research and Innovation and Postgrad Studies, Professor Eugene Klopper, in driving this forward. But it really provided us with an opportunity to unlock bilateral cooperations across the continent. And we are indeed looking forward to see how this will provide us with the opportunity to access world-class science as well as innovation ecosystem across the continent. We've been hosting the Sunwatch Secretariat for a number of years, and we are continue doing that. And then also every year we have our celebration when it is Africa University Day, which is usually the 12th of November, as well as our Africa Day, which is the 25th of May every year. And over the last 2 years, we have continued to do that. I'm almost through. Want to share with you in terms of network and collaborative teaching and learning that the Hybrid Mobility Hub, can move on, thanks Robert, served as a holding structure for our globally networked learning here at Stellenbosch University. And what we've seen over the reporting period is really that we have built capacity through this course, and we have seen the participation of the German academic exchange survey that was funded through DART, and we are very thankful for that support by DART to continue this work. And of course, we are very excited to share with you that our proposal that we have made to host the final conference of the IVAC project here at Stellenbosch University. And that again will provide us with an opportunity to bring our partners to Stellenbosch University. Another success story is our Africa Doctoral Academy, steered by Professor Sarah Howie as the director of the center, that offers doctoral education training across the continent. And we have had to shift to an online option. We've offered that the first time in an online version, our spring school, but subsequently we've had the boot camp. And if you look at the statistics, you will agree, drawing participants from across the continent is indeed a success story. And what we see now is new initiatives that is being expanded into what they refer to as Webinar Wednesdays. So offering the online program, but then following up with certain activities to cement the learnings and provide further interaction and exchanges for our doctoral students, and also with the experts that offer these programs. So if I may conclude then, oh, sorry, I almost missed this one because I need to say something around this. This is a wonderful new initiative that we've seen approved last year. And this is the establishment of the Stellenbosch University International Credentialing Center. What this means for Stellenbosch University is that we have partnered with the International Examination Board, for short called IEB. And IEB is a body that provided the support and give the credential to qualifications that comes through private university system, not the government system. And this platform now provides us with the opportunity to have an external and internal quality assurance role. And everyone will immediately relate to something like the Cambridge qualification. And this is what we see as the development of a Stellenbosch University qualification equivalent to the Cambridge for then the private system across the countries within Africa. So indeed, I want to say, watch this space. We have just recently received the news that our qualification is indeed the equivalent of the international body in the UK. And we are very excited to see how this will play out over the next year or two when we start rolling out across the different countries, but specifically starting first year with the southern countries of Africa. So let me conclude by sharing with you then the research for impact. Next slide, Robert. If we look at the Emerging Scholarship Initiative that has taken place, this has been done in collaboration with Strathmore University based in Kenya, as well as University of Lagos, which was an online. You can see the uptake in terms of the need that exists across the continent for these type of initiatives like Africa Doctoral Academy, like the Emerging Scholarship Initiatives. And COVID-19 has given us the opportunity to look at new models that we will now build on. Last but not least is then employer of choice, where we have continued to provide the opportunity for collaborative virtual development program in our professional, academic and support staff environment. And here we've done it with Lund University in November of 2020. We have continued offering that program. 3 parallel sessions was presented and subsequently with follow-up sessions. So we've seen the virtual or in-person mobility couldn't continue, but we have indeed seen the success stories of how this could have continued in a virtual format. And the call now for next year has just recently opened, and we are waiting for our staff to submit their applications. So in conclusion then, some final remarks, and this is to say that COVID-19 pandemic has had a major impact on the internationalization efforts here at Stellenbosch University and the implementation of our strategy. However, when we look back over the past year, we have achieved much more than we would have ever thought was possible. And I really need to give recognition to Robert and his team, who took up the challenge and found new ways of embracing different ways of working, and really went beyond the disruption that we experienced and took it as a challenge and said, how will we move forward? These virtual meetings will continue in future, although I must say, honestly, I'm looking forward to meet you all in person, either on your campuses or in Stellenbosch University campus, because one thing that we did become aware during COVID is that nothing can substitute in-person contact. And indeed, I think that is what will bind us together in future. So to all our partners, thank you for walking this road with us, willing to share your learnings and to continue with us on this journey. And I really thank my colleagues for this opportunity to share with you the work that we have done. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Hester. Thank you, Professor. And also thank you for the the positive words about the team here. I'm even more proud of them than you are proud of them. So it's good to have them around. Is there anyone with a question, perhaps, for Professor Klopper? Let me just change the screen here. So thank you very much, Hester. And
So yeah, thanks.
thank you. So I will use the next 3-4 minutes just to quickly show you some of the changes that we had in the office before I introduce Professor Kanshu. It will give you hopefully a picture of where we are in terms of some of the references that has been made about some structures in the office. I'm going to share my screen again quickly and run through it with you. So you may be used to the fact that we always had the 5 centers: the Africa Center for Scholarship, the Doctoral Academy, Emerging Scholars Initiative, Center for Collaboration in Africa, Center for Partnerships and Internationalization Support, Global Education Center for the Mobility, and then the Services Center. So we decided to merge those 2 units because of the fact that we wanted to bring partnerships and the effect of partnerships on mobility closer together. And what we also did was to move internationalization support out of one center and spread it across the SU International. So it's small, but the idea is just to show you that all the internationalization support activities we have spread now throughout the centers with different responsibilities within the office. So in the Center for Global Engagement, the new one, we have the unit for partnerships, and they link to the legal services, IT, and HR in terms of what's needed there. This is headed by, so the center is headed by Sarah van Westhuizen, and then Alicia Erasmus is responsible for the partnerships. Then we have communications there, and then the unit for global education, which is currently vacant, that position there, with then 3 streams: global learning, semester mobility, and short-term mobility. Semester mobility led by Bantu Low, and then short-term mobility by Werner de Wit. And then within this center will also be the Schema Campus Office, AFS, and a very new, exciting development. Hopefully we will launch that on the 1st of April next year, a Stellenbosch University Japan Center with all kinds of activities related to Japan. Then the Africa Center for Scholarship is scholarship development, the Doctoral Academy, and the Emerging Scholars Initiative. And the thing that Professor Klopper also referred to, the unit for international credentialing, where we will be the quality assurance mechanism for the international secondary certificate presented at schools outside of South Africa. So it's school leavers with that qualification. That qualification will then be quality assured by this unit. We will have the hybrid learning support, and then we're also in the process of applying for a UNESCO chair for intercultural competences. This will be here. Then our collaboration in Africa, our partnership development Africa, the AUDA STI, that's the African Union Development Agency. It's one of 5 in Africa. Nico will talk about that. And we would like to join our thematic networks. Peri responsible for disaster risk. No, it's not the disaster risk management, but it's programs in terms of addressing the disaster risks. And there are 12 universities part of that, and the water network. But we want to, we're starting with a SDG at Stellenbosch University Hub, where we will try and coordinate the work we do. Thank you, Nico. Disaster risk reduction, peri, disaster risk reduction. So how to stop the peri to burn your tongue. So the SDG Hub will be to see what we are doing in the research field at Stellenbosch, and then use that to engage with our partners to make sure that we can create international links in terms of the SDGs. And then we have our services center, our finances, student finance, office management, and international services unit with immigration matters and those things. And then also a new activity here to have a focused international student recruitment drive, where we as SU International will be responsible for international undergraduate students. Postgraduate office will do that for postgraduate students. So this is also something new that we're starting. So we were going forward quite happily during this the difficult times that we all experienced the past months or so.